Wachten.
Hello, beautiful people.
Hello, everybody.
Here we are again.
Yes.
This time in English and with a very, I feel, necessary video.
Informative.
Very informative, mostly.
And it can be very triggering also.
Yes. So brace yourselves because we are going into it.
This is a video about the Archonic Field. Let me start first with what is an energetic field. We know we have our own energy field, but the energetic fields are higher frequencies, but also lower frequencies. And yes, we know about the higher frequencies. We know about the angels, the light guides, source itself, and a lot of other high frequencies, because in every religion or spiritual practice, they have different names. And we do not talk about the lower frequencies as much as we talk about the higher ones. So what is the Archonic Field? The Archonic Field are the lower energies. And this is also very mentally. This fields, like the higher field, is like bringing us up in frequency, and the lower fields try to pull us down. And we are always in the center. So as above, so below. As I told you, this field is mental, and the lower frequencies really brings us in our heads. And yeah, that can be very tough if we do not if we do not or won't be aware of it. So this is why we want to talk about this one, because as we're growing in frequency, the lower frequencies also getting stronger, because it's still part of us. And how does this field affect us? It feeds off our fears and keeps us in our head. So we know all about the triggers. And the trigger is the embodiment telling us there is something happening within. And if we are staying in our heads, we are listening to the lower vibrations. If we are willing to listen to our trigger and get in tune with ourselves, we can listen to the higher vibrations and the higher frequencies. Do you want something to say about that?
Yes. With the higher frequencies, there's often, it might feel like you have a lot more work to do to get there or to even be aware of its presence. Whereas the lower energies are lower vibrating energies, which means that it's easier for us to see it. But because we tend to personalize a lot of things, we fail to see them for what they truly are. And that's something that we're going to talk about more as well, about how to recognize this lower field. The higher energies are vibrating at a higher frequency than us. which means that we literally have to work and tap into it and ask for guidance and ask them to show us the way. Whereas the Archonic field is constantly showing us things and actually want us to take things personally, because that's how they thrive.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what I want to say about this is like we are raising our vibrations, our frequencies. So we are getting more in tune and more in alignment with the higher frequencies. But the lower frequencies cannot survive in the higher frequencies. So the lower frequency is in survival mode and is trying everything to pull us back down. And yeah, how can we recognize the field? This field is also within, but also without. So let's go to the trigger again. When we are triggered, it's our embodiment who is telling us there's something going on. We can choose two options: get in tune with ourselves, feel, and go within, or react from the trigger and starting pointing fingers, start judgment, not only on others, but especially on ourselves. So this is what I said, the lower frequencies is head bound and the higher frequencies are from the heart space. Because the heart space is the center of who we really are. And if we not combine the two, then we will get lost in our head.
And that's again where they thrive, because the Archonic field is mental.
Yes.
And that's where they tend to get you. And the higher fields, the archangel fields, are soul.
From the love, from
Yes.
our intuition, our inner knowing. And so we can say the Archonic field is more about our outer knowing. And this is what we have learned for many, many years. And we forgot to take responsibility and go within. Because it's much easier for us to show it outwards, because our eyes see. And this is easier to point fingers or to blame someone or even blame ourselves. And it is much harder to go within and take responsibility of the feeling that we really feel. So yeah, and I want to show you something, and that's like a table. It's a map of consciousness. And as we can see, neutrality is in the middle. And I would say it starts with courage. It's still a bit ego-based, but this is where we step out of our comfort zone and are ready to acknowledge that we can go within. And as you can see at the table, you can see the different frequencies.
Yeah. So the lower ones are shame, guilt, apathy. Then there's grief, fear, desire, anger, pride, and courage.
Yes.
But this is also a, what do you call it? Like it builds up, right?
Or it pulls you down. It can go both ways, but it is what you do with it. Are you ready to go within and get in tune with yourself? Or are you willing to still point fingers?
Mm-hmm. And this line here is actually the point where the trigger hits.
Yes.
This is the body.
Very true. And how can we turn this around? As I told you before, go within, feel, know your energy. And this is a difficult part because we know we live as a collective on this earth. And energy is very, very, very contagious.
Yes.
So it's really important to know how you feel, where you stand at this moment in this time. And one of the biggest tools is like meditate, dance, be creative.
These are all things that bring you back to the middle, even listening to music or,
Singing.
yeah, singing, everything that brings you back into center will help you recognize, your middle point again.
True. And this is what I want to tell you also. The body is what is our vehicle at this moment. And the body makes the choice to either feel happy or sad. This is a conscious choice, even though we do not see that. This has to do with the starting point of the embodiment, the trigger. We choose our own feelings. And that makes sense though, because nobody else is feeling what we are feeling. So this is why we need to take responsibility of our own feelings. And this is also where we can shift the feeling if we are ready to change our focus. So imagine that we are in the midst of our process. So then when we are triggered, we have two choices. One is to go in neutrality, and this is heart-based, or one below, that's courage, that is still ego-based, because we need the ego to be courageous. And then you will see that you need affirmation to be courageous. And you need to be reasonable as well. But again, as above, so below. So if you choose neutrality, you trust. And that would be very satisfying.
Yeah.
And so you can see that in this table, the higher you go, the lower you can go also. And this is what we call growth. So we are starting in the middle. The higher we evolve, the harder we fall. And that's logical because we are the center of ourselves. And all these things are part of us. There's none we can escape. It's still part of the process.
Yeah. So even if you're, because what happens to me quite often is that when I'm triggered, my natural response is to go into pride, where I'm like, no, I don't want to feel this. I don't want to, I don't feel like doing this. And then I feel scorn towards that situation because I'm like, just denying it. And then I demand for something else to happen, like I try to control what I'm feeling by saying, for example, I'm gonna let go of what no longer belongs to me.
Mm-hmm. Or demanding on people also.
Yeah, or demanding from other people that I want them to do things a certain way. But if I catch myself and choose to do it differently, then willingness is what I get, because I'm like, okay, I'm willing to listen to what this is, and I'm willing to turn this around. That makes me feel like more optimism, and then that turns into hopefulness.
Yes, indeed. And this is how it works. So you can recognize, if you are in tune with yourself, do your daily routine, no matter what it is, yoga, meditation, everybody has his own. You will know how it feels to be the center of it all. This is where you can see in the trigger where you stand on the table of growth. This is what we call the map of consciousness. And as above, so below. So are you, but with working on acceptance, you can be very angry also, because this is the polarity of it all.
Mhm.
Are you agreeing with that?
Yeah, absolutely. And to fill in on that, you can always switch. You can always switch, especially when you catch yourself in a lower state. You can always switch to the state that is opposite of that. So for example, if you are feeling angry, if you are feeling anger, you can choose to step into acceptance of that anger.
But you need to go inward.
Yes.
Because if you are not willing to go inward, you will still be angry, because you will blame other people, and that will anger you.
Mhm.
And this is what I say, the path of growth. This is how we do it. All of us, and everybody is working on their own process.
Mhm.
Nobody is further, nobody is more, nobody is less. We are one.
Yeah. So to answer the question of how to recognize this field around you, and not just the archonic field, but also the soul field of love, is that once you are turning outwards and pointing fingers, that's when you're in the archonic field, period.
This is where you lower
If
your
you
frequency.
take the time to go inwards and feel and recognize and accept, then you are in state of soul, the energy of soul.
The angelic field. Archonic, angelic. It's the same, but as above, so below.
Yeah. And with me, because Ricardo is the one who actually told me about the archonic field. I had never heard of it before, but when he told me about it, it made so much sense to me. And I was like, okay, so it's just a certain energy that is at play within me that is causing me to act in a certain way or to make certain choices. And I immediately saw that if you're not aware of it, how it can just take you and overthrow you, and like things will happen to you. You will stumble upon people and you'll be thinking, why does this keep happening to me? But it's only because you haven't enlightened yourself yet with the knowing of
self.
With the knowing of self and the angelic field, where you are safe and where you are loved. And again, this is easy because we are on this middle line, we can't always see what's up there because it's vibrating at a higher frequency. We in our bodies have to make sure that we take ourselves up there so that we can be in tune with the higher energies. And another way to recognize it is, are you acting from your head? Does it take you a lot of thinking to get through something? And do you feel a buzz in your head? Then you know that you are not coming from your heart. And the heart is where the soul is and the angelic field is, because everything comes together in there. If you see that, again, the higher 3 chakras are the heart, the throat. Actually, not the heart. The heart is the center. So the throat, the third eye, and the crown. And again, you see that in these colors as well. Those are the higher fields. And the lower ones are the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus. But everything comes back to heart center. So that is where you know from where to respond to a certain situation. And if you are in the middle of a certain situation and your heart feels tightened and your head is full, that's how you can recognize that you're not where you're supposed to be. And again, meditation, dancing, drawing, being creative in any kind of way brings you back to this very moment and brings you back into the heart. And from there, you can again make the choice to go above or below.
Because again, the angelic fields are very inspiring, will help you grow in vibrations, in frequency. And the Archonic field is very downplaying. And
literally, you feel dragged down. That's where it comes from. You feel dragged down. When you feel great, you say, you know, I feel light. And the energies that are higher are more subtle because they vibrate so fast, and you literally have to tap into that.
Yes, and this is what I say, when this is when the feelings of sadness or joy is a conscious choice, because we are choosing consciously to go downward or to go upwards. This is how it works. Mm-hmm. This is really how it works.
Yeah. And now that I am becoming more and more aware of the Archonic field, I can see how they also try to get you at your weakest points. And you know, you'll get triggered exactly where
you need to be triggered.
Yeah.
Because this is I want to feel in something, and this is like my focus now at this moment, because I have been for a long time in the Archonic fields, and they really torn me down, and I saw it as a curse. But now I see they are also my biggest tool, because I am willing to turn my focus around. And this is the only thing that helps me grow. As above, so below. We need both energies to get really centered again.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, how do you turn it around? Hopefully now you've learned how to recognize when you're actually being taken over by the Archonic field. Which reminds me that in the angelic realm, so the higher realms, you have, you know, your spirit guides, you have your angels, you have the light beings, you have all the higher powers that are at play. And in the Archonic field, it's demonic entities, it is negative spirits, it is everything, literally the opposite. So when we say they, there's always some kind of entity trying to get in you or in your energy field to distract you from going into the light, where they can no longer control you. Because once you're up there, once you've managed to practice, you know, neutrality and willingness and acceptance and reason and love and joy and peace, and the more you find yourself within those vibrations, the harder it's going to be for the Archonic field to reach you there. And therefore, they will always try to get you on your biggest fears and, you know, your smallest worries. And they're going to try to enlarge that for you.
I want to say
so that they drag you down again.
Something about that. And this is like she said about the light guides, the angelic beings, and you have like different layers of angelic beings. So you have different layers of Archonic beings, leeches, incubus, succubus, and the lower you will get, the more demonic it will be.
Yeah. And I also understand that shame is the lowest one of all. Shame is the one where you are beating yourself up the most. You know, that is where
you can be taken over.
You can be taken over completely. Once you're in shame, because then you feel like you're not good enough and you're not. That's the point where you are attacking yourself, literally.
Yes.
And the other ones is where you are blaming the world, basically. So guilt, shame, and apathy is where you can no longer connect with the outside world and you're literally tearing yourself apart.
You will really get disconnected from self.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah.
Go within.
That is the most important thing. And if you struggle to go within, make sure that you at least center yourself. Like find a middle point, find that place where all the white noise goes away.
So again, the biggest tool is go within. Feel. What do you feel? It's okay that you feel that, and turn it around. Because know where shame is enlightenment. Where guilt is, there's peace. Where empathy, there's joy. Where grief, there's love. Desire, reason. Anger, acceptance. Pride, willingness. Courage, neutrality.
Yeah. So that's how you turn it around.
And what I want to tell you this is my work. I'm a shadow worker as well. I'm not only a light worker, I'm a shadow worker. And this is part of my work. This is how I heal myself and can be in assistance of others to help doing it themselves, because I cannot do it for anybody. This is where we may take responsibility for our own growth. And this is what growth is all about, though. Isn't it about self? To realize at the end, there is no self. There is only oneness.
Yeah.
So I hope this video inspires you and it helps you. And don't be afraid to ask questions as well, because we are really willing to help you get through this.
Yeah, and I hope also that this shows you that you don't need to take your circumstances personally. Like everything that happens to you is just a lesson, and everything that happens is an effect to a cause. And we are, we are spiritual beings having a human experience, and this is what the human experience is. And this part is the secret, really, to
release yourself from the ignorance we are living in.
Absolutely.
So we are creating a program that is called The Nature of Love. And I think it will be ready in like February. So this will be to continue.
Yeah, we will be talking about more of this in depth, and we'll also be giving you tools and ways to help yourself to stay in the higher realm, or at least in the middle. But yeah, the nature of love it's everything.
I want to tell you something before we end the video, and this is very important also. As I told you in the beginning, energy is contagious. So if you are surrounding yourself with people who are constantly in this field, you will be there too. Remember that. And this is, again, a conscious choice for you if you want to stay in that field or get out of it.
Mhm.
And this is also like sexual. The person you have intercourse with, if the person is in this field, you will get there too, because energy is contagious. And this is how the collective works. This is how we can free the collective from that part of energy if we start healing ourselves. Because when we heal ourselves, we will heal the whole world. But it starts with ourselves.
Yeah. And it is also very important to remember that as much as the field is trying to get to you, it is also trying to get to everybody around you.
Yes.
And so when people are doing the finger pointing and are attacking you, basically, don't take it personally. Just know that they have gone into a lower realm, and that the only way to get them out is with love, and forgive them, and show understanding and reverence, and make sure that you show them that you are there for them, that once they do climb out, because everybody is in a process. No, like if somebody has been mean to you today, that doesn't mean that they will be mean to you in a year's time. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like everybody is constantly changing and constantly going through different phases. It's never ending.
It's all about planting seeds.
Yeah.
And that goes both ways, as above, so below.
Yeah.
So if you are planting seeds from the archonic fields, you will get it back. When you're planting seeds from the angelic fields, you will get it back. Choose wisely.
Yes. Yes. So, yeah, keep an eye on the program that is coming up. Ricardo's energy healings are also a great way to get you back to the center, to rebalance your chakra points, so that you are better able to recognize the higher frequencies within yourself. And he will also show you through visualization how to do that for yourself.
So it is also a tool. After the healing ceremony, you will have a tool so you can do it by yourself.
Yeah.
Always when it's needed.
Yeah, and there's always aftercare. There's a whole range of coaching that goes with the healing, so you won't be left on your own afterwards. You can always contact Ricardo. You can even contact me. And from my side, this is a relatively new subject for me, and I'm still like learning and seeing and understanding what everything really means to me, and also for the work that I do within menstruality. And a very important thing that's already shown itself is that because us women have this natural process of ascending and descending within our cycles energetically, it also means that during the descending,
the autumn and the winter,
you are actually more
vulnerable
to the archonic field. And that's why it's so important to have to establish certain rituals and things that you can do for yourself to stay in the center, even though your body is indeed descending, because it needs to do that so that it can reboot itself again. And this happens every single month, which is why a lot of us have premenstrual issues or lots of pain during our menstrual cycles, which is something that is not really supposed to be there. And so we can also look from a menstruality point of view at how can we protect ourselves from the archonic fields when we are most vulnerable. So that would be my menstrual counseling, menstruality counseling, and also within my menstruality program, which is also being built right now. That will be a big part of of the tools that you will be getting. So yeah, let us know how you feel about this, how this video resonated with you. And yeah, just be in touch with us. Also, let us know how you feel about us speaking English. Like we are
open.
learning, we
Yeah.
are open. And we love to hear your feedback on everything as well.
Yes.
Now the typical stuff of like, comment, share this video, and subscribe to the channel. Make
Yes.
sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook as well. Create Space Touching Lives, one word. And yeah, be in touch.
So this was it. And I want to thank you for watching this video. And as I said, stay in tune with yourself. And if you have questions, please ask. Because this is why we are here. And this is why we are doing what we are doing.
Yes.
So thank you.
Thank you so much.
We love you. And we see you soon. Bye-bye.
Ciao.